detalles. Hola amigos comicófilos, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos. Hola amigos comicófilos, bienvenidos a un live más aquí en el Santuario de los Cómics. Y hoy tenemos septiembre y medio, que está acabando el mes de Conan. Septiembre ya finaliza y hoy vamos a cerrar con algunos videos que vamos a lanzar un poquito más adelante, pero hoy quisimos empezar con una entrevista muy especial con uno de los escritores más prestigiados aquí en el Santuario de los Cómics, y él no es otro más que Jim Zub, que él es el escritor de Conan el Bárbaro. Aquí tenemos varias cosas de Conan el Bárbaro, y tenemos aquí a Jim, que nos está esperando en backstage. Pero para esto vamos a hacer switch para el idioma inglés, así que pongan los subtítulos aquí en YouTube, le pueden poner los subtítulos y vamos a disfrutar de esta plática en inglés, donde nos hablará de Scourge of the Serpent, o el azote de la serpiente. Es una miniserie de 4 números, y para eso vamos a invitar a pasar al Santuario de los Cómics a nuestro amigo Jim Zub. Y aquí lo tenemos, and we have to switch now to English to talk to Jim Zub. How are you, Jim?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm so glad that you're finally here in our channel. And several friends of my friends, they also have some YouTube channels. And once in a while, maybe every month, we talk about the new things that Titan Comics is giving us. Now that Panini Mexico, it's right now giving us the stories, but we have 1 year behind. But we are right now, because we live in Tijuana, very near to San Diego, so
right.
we're updated with the current issues, and
in English
to talk about the Scourge of the Serpent now that it starts.
Awesome. So you guys are still reading, they're still releasing the Battle of the Blackstone, or is that finished?
Yeah, Battle of the Blackstone is going to be the next issue in Mexico.
Awesome.
And according to what it's published by Panini Comics. But the only thing is, we know what's going on after.
Right. You guys are keeping track of the English releases?
Exactly.
Very cool.
We got all, as you can see, we got all the issues of the Savage Sword.
I really appreciate it. That's awesome.
And we have obviously all the issues of the regular monthly Conan the Barbarian. But
awesome.
Also we have so much excitement about the Scourge of the Serpent, because it's going to be the Scourge of the Serpent came exactly when the regular Conan comic book ends the second year.
Right.
So
that's right. So
the last arc, it's about Set.
Exactly. So what we're doing is, each kind of year of the series, we've sort of got an overarching theme. We've got a bigger, theme that carries over for that whole year, or for at least the majority of the stories. We're seeding, fun little things that are going to then pay off later on. And so there's our 5th story arc, which we call Twisting Loyalties. I'm not sure what that will be in Spanish, but that's where we started to sort of layer in these ideas and these elements that are going to pay off in the Scourge of the Serpent. And so now finally it's so cool, to have the first issue released. I've been working with, man, Ivan Gill is our artist, and Jao Canola, who's previously done colors on the Battle of the Blackstone. They're an amazing team. And I really cannot wait for people to see more of what Ivan's been doing, because every issue, it just feels like he's getting stronger and stronger and more confident with the Hyborian Age. People got the first look at that on the free comic book day, the Scourge of the Serpent Prelude that we put out, that is free. So you can even link it for readers to check out the English one for free on the Titan website. And that was just, the first stuff out of the gate. And now even stronger, I feel like. At this moment, we're currently sending, issue 3 and 4 off to press, and Ivan's basically just finishing up on the final issue now, while you guys, in English, we're releasing issue 1, and issue 2 is, I should have copies of that, for myself very, very soon, which I cannot wait to see, because it's one thing to see it on a screen, but it's another thing to have it in print. That's the real special stuff right there.
That sounds very good, Jim. And one of the things that right now, obviously we're behind, we're in Battle of the Blackstone right now.
Yeah.
The most recent issue is Savage Sword of Conan number 4.
Okay.
So that's the most recent issue, and then in November we're expecting the TPB, because for some the trade paperback, that's what I mean. Because Panini didn't give us like single issues.
Interesting. Okay.
They just go straight to the collectible
collections. Right.
Exactly. So
cool.
every book that is published in Mexico contains 4 numbers. It's 1 arc, and right now we're expecting that. But because we're very near to San Diego here, we're able to get our Scourge of the Serpent. This is
awesome. You pop over the border and grab them. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, the Free Comic Book Day just give us a big surprise with Scourge of the Serpent. At the beginning, I was like wondering, where is this going to? Because it's very interesting. I was so excited. But you know what happened? With the time, I just read the Solomon King, the
so
Serpent
cool.
Ring. The Solomon King. This is written by Patrick Searcher.
He wrote and illustrated all of it. He's done an incredible job on the series.
Yeah, he does a very, very good job. Just look at these issues. They're
they're so good.
And the thing is, I was thinking, is this connecting with the event of the Scourge of the Serpent?
Well, it's all kind of thematically hangs together because of the Serpent Ring, and because, the influence of Set, the Great Serpent, and the Ring of Thoth-Amon. It all kind of connects together. If there's going to be a novel that's coming out as well by Tim Wagoneer, and that's also got that same thematic kind of thing. So we're trying to build the publishing line out so that you can just read the Solomon Kane book and enjoy it on its own. You can keep reading the monthly book and enjoy that on its own. But if you're reading everything, if you're reading all the pieces, then you're going to see even more. You're going to see even more connectivity between them. And you're going to see that theme just really strongly carrying across the whole line. So, because I'm signed on this series long term, I'm going to be on Conan at least till the end of 2027.
That's good.
I know what the theme is for 2026, and I know what the theme is for 2027. We've already got that planned out. I actually handed in my outline for next year's event book. I can't tell you what it's called just yet, but I already handed in the outline and got that approved back in April. So we've just signed on the artist who's going to be doing the next event book in 2026, and I'm super, super excited to work with them. We've got all sorts of really cool plans as we carry through, on the future of the, this modern age of high adventure. As no other words I can use for it. It's just been such a joy to work on it, and the fans have been so amazing.
So when I start reading issue number 21, this is the first time Fernando Dagnino, which, by the way, there's 2 interviews in this channel of Fernando Dagnino.
Oh, really?
Already
that's so cool.
And he was so kind to give us already 2 interviews in between. There's a lap time of I think month and a half, and we have 2 interviews. And that's obviously awesome. I was so excited to see his work in this issue, It's phenomenal.
He's really good. You know, he gave us a first sort of taste of what he could do back in the Savage Sword #4. He did that story where Conan kind of devolves into that caveman and kind of goes crazy. And I thought that looked good. But then on the main monthly book, when we got him in there for a Nest of Serpents, this, 21 to 24, holy crap, man, he just unloads. Like every issue gets stronger and stronger as we go. I think that 23 and 24 are genuinely some of the best issues we've ever put out. They're just so exciting.
That's
They're
for
so
sure.
well done. The drama is thick, the action, the supernatural elements. Everyone is just on full blast at this moment. And Diego Rodriguez does a beautiful job
Yes,
coloring his work as well. They make for a
color.
really, really strong team. I never have to worry about, Richard Starkings and Tyler, our letterers. The lettering's always going to be top notch, on Conan. They do such a phenomenal job. I don't want to take it for granted, but on the other hand, I'm so confident in their abilities. But yeah, the art team of, Diego's done such a great job on Doug Braithwaite stuff, on, he did coloring on Roberto de la Torre, and now, on Fernando. So really, he's just been a phenomenal colorist to have in the mix. His sense of mood and his understanding of getting that atmosphere and using color to enhance the storytelling. It's wonderful to see, honestly.
But there's another color artist that
Hmm.
Jose Villarrubia. He was on the
Mhm.
first issue.
Yeah, he was on the original ones, and
Also,
Dean White as
have an
well.
interview
Yeah.
with him in this channel too, Jose
Oh,
Villarrubia.
cool. That's awesome.
But Ivan Gill and Jao Canola,
Yeah.
they're working in the Scourge of the Serpent.
Yeah, they've really stepped it up. Ivan's, it's funny because he's not known in the North American market, but
Uh-huh.
he's been working in the French market for quite some time. He's a
Okay.
Spaniard, so he
Uh-huh.
lives, in Madrid. I got to meet him in person and hang out with him this summer. And he's been doing these Napoleonic graphic novels and Westerns and things like that for several years. And he's very, very skilled. But the North American market, they don't really know who he is. He contacted me kind of out of the blue and showed me samples of his work. Originally, I think he just wanted to do like, a pinup or something for Savage Sword. And
Okay.
I said, man, this stuff's beautiful. What I love is he does such phenomenal environments. He
Okay.
really goes deep into detail and texture and atmosphere in those spaces, because he's had to do that with these historical graphic novels. They send him so much reference material of like military uniforms and specific historical places. And he's had to get, really tune up his drawing ability to be able to showcase that stuff. So then being able to say, okay, look, here's the Hyborian Age. What can you do with all these amazing influences, and what can you do? This is his youth, of course, like so many artists. He grew up reading the Conan stuff and has just become, you know, invested in it. And now we give him the palette and the chance to showcase this 3 different, timelines. So there's an
Okay.
adventure taking place in the Thurian age of Kull the Conqueror, and Brule the Spear Slayer.
World of Spear
And
Slayer.
then, of course, the Hyborian Age. This is Conan in his youth, which we have, in the story that we're taking from The God in the Bowl. And then we have the 1930s as well with Dr. John Kirawan, who we previously saw in Battle of the Blackstone.
Battle of the
But
Blackstone.
this
Yeah.
story takes place before that one. So this is before the events of Blackstone. Even though these events are happening earlier in their career, thematically and, it's building on the bigger story, as I think, readers are going to soon see by the time we get to issue 4
I
of
was going.
Scourge of the Serpent.
I was going to ask that because, and I said they're not supposed to already have an adventure Conan and Cool together, and previously in the previous
Right.
event. But I said,
So how could they have met, previously? Well, I can't reveal how this all kind of plays out, but
of course, but that was.
yeah, I've kept it in mind. Trust me. The Age Unconquered, we do have the grand plan. So one of the things I've been doing is, like in the original Weird Tales stories of Robert E. Howard, the original Conan stories, they're not in sequential order. They jump around. The very first story is Phoenix on the Sword. And
Yeah.
then we move backward, to other stories that were published later, the Tower of the Elephant and, all kinds of different stories. He actually wrote Frost Giant's Daughter and God in the Bowl, even though they weren't published until way later. He jumped, to Conan's youth and then sort of vaulted all around with different stories in the actual publishing order. And so I wanted to have the flexibility to be able to do that in the monthly book, that we could go from story arc to story arc and reveal information to the reader as you needed it. So
Okay.
sometimes we show Conan in his youth, sometimes we show him in his prime. Now, starting with issue 25, we're even showing some stories of King Conan, and that they're all kind of organically available to us depending on what we need to show in terms of theme and emotion, in terms of information, that we can move backward and forward. And that's really, that flexibility just allows us to keep surprising readers, and it allows us to kind of reveal new information when it's most important and when it's most exciting. And that's what I'm really having fun with. So I've got the kind of grand, timeline planned out. I know where these things are going to go, but then you as the reader get to sort of watch it be revealed. And we're doing the same kind of thing with Scourge of the Serpent, where we show the events of Blackstone, and Conan at that point is like in the same era as, Beyond the Black River. So he's in his later career. It's the last, canon story before he becomes king. But then we're jumping now to this earlier story using material from God in the Bowl. So how does this happen? How does this tie in thematically later? Well, you'll have to read and see. I think issue 4 is going to be a big shock to a lot of readers. We're going to have some big surprises and crazy things revealed in there.
I already saw on the webpage of Titan Comics that it was revealed, also in Facebook, and I saw the images. There was already revealed the covers for issue number 2, number 3, and number 4 of Scourge Serpent. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited about because what I read on the Nest of Serpents, the regular monthly Conan adventures, I have a lot of variant covers here.
Oh, sweet!
I have a lot of variant covers.
Oh,
but the thing is, when I saw what happened with Conan, in this issue, and Zula, it's like, oh my God, he's a friend or is a foe?
That's the thing. I wanted to really create that sense of conflict between them, that it's not so simple, especially after the previous arc with Twisting Loyalties. We reintroduced Zula into, the comic continuity. He's different from when he was at Marvel. He's different from obviously the movie version from Conan the Destroyer. Sure. But you can see some of those influences working their way into the stories, that if you know the character, you're like, okay, I kind of know what's there, but we can still surprise you. That's what's really important to me, is that we're able to take even the long running collectors, they don't quite know what we're going to do next, but we're using those ingredients of really great sword and sorcery and Robert E. Howard and trying to mix it up and keep you on edge, that you don't know month to month. That's what good, serialized storytelling is, that you should be anticipating each new issue, that you should be excited to go to the comic book shop and pick up the newest one, and then excitedly go online and talk about it with other fans. So I want to try and keep that momentum as much as possible, that between the regular monthly book and the anthology book with Savage Sword and, the event books that we do each fall, that they're always keeping readers engaged and they're always excited to find out what's going to happen next. And they're not quite sure. I know some of the readers are just sort of like, well, how's this all going to connect together? Or how's this all going to work? And you're like, good. If you're asking those questions, then I have answers. And then I want you to find out. If you know it all ahead of time, then it's not exciting. If you can figure it out right from the jump, then it's like, why, I'll pick it up in collection. I don't want you to wait for the trade paperback. I want you every 30 days, I want you to run into the comic book store.
And that's why I'm hooked on every issue. And also I get some special covers like this glow in the dark.
Oh my gosh, that one's so cool, right? So awesome. Greg Staples, he's such an amazing illustrator. I've grown up on his work. I'm such a huge fan. And he reached out to Titan and was like, man, I really want to do a Conan cover. And I thought, oh my God, we got to, and then he just sent us this painting and it absolutely blew us all away. And so we said, well, how can we make this even more special? So Titan said, oh, we've been looking at doing some glow in the dark stuff, and that green is so potent. Let's really do it. And it really glows too. I was shocked at how
it glows. I tested
how intense it does.
And I said, oh my God,
it is bright. Sometimes those glow in the dark can be kind of murky, but that one's really, really cool,
Yeah. But the important thing in this arc, Nest of Serpents, it's like it's going to connect the regular monthly issue of Conan with the miniseries. It's going to connect, and this is the revealing of I don't know if I have to say it, if I have to say it, about of this wizard.
This grand plan
Exactly,
that is all connected to Set, the Great Serpent. You know,
exactly.
it's the year of the snake. I don't know if you know that 2025 is
I didn't know that.
yeah, I think it's the Chinese year of the snake or whatever, and it just all worked out. We were like, well, this is perfect. It's destiny. It's the way it's meant to be. So, yeah, I'm really, really proud of how it's all coming together. Everyone on the team is so amazing to work with. Like, you know, obviously the artists, you know, Fernando or Ivan and our colorists, I've already talked about our lettering team, but everyone on the editorial team too, like Chris and Ashley are so great to work with, or, you know, Marcos and Sean and everyone in the marketing crew. Like, it's just a really awesome team to be a part of. That's just at Heroic. Doesn't even count like Ricky and John and, you know, Will over at Titan. Like everyone on the team is just so awesome. I love working on this book. I love working with these people, and they're so enthusiastic and passionate about what they do. And that's why I think the work looks so good, you know,
Uh-huh.
is that it's yes, it's a job. And so we treat it seriously with deadlines and all that, but it's also passion that we can put into it as much as humanly possible,
And
you
that's
know?
exactly what I found in every issue.
Mm,
I'm just stuck to the regular floppies, because
yeah.
I was thinking, should I wait for the TPB or the hardcover collection? And I said, no, there's no way I can wait. There's no way. I'm so hooked.
Well,
I
that's
cannot do that.
appreciated.
Okay,
I know some people that buy the digital of the single issues and then they'll get the collections later, but they definitely don't want to wait. That's for sure, which is a good feeling. That means we're doing it right, you know, like I said before. So,
it's like 12 hours before I was stuck. I work in a hospital in San Diego,
yeah.
so I was like, tomorrow it was Thursday night, and then at
Right.
midnight it's Wednesday already. So I just
Yeah.
bought it digital, and then
Oh,
next day
cool.
I went to the comic store and I just bought this one.
Amazing.
But I
So, what's
already
your comic shop in San Diego? What's the name of it?
comics and stuff. That's my
Cool.
place. Comics and
Great.
stuff,
Great.
and
Well, I just want you to be able to, you know, tell people about them. So
oh,
thank you to Comics and Stuff for the support. It's deeply appreciated. You got to keep Alfredo hooked up with his, you know, his Conan every month, right?
these
So,
guys know me already for so many years and say, oh,
mm.
okay, Conan, yeah, you're coming for Conan. And they have a big pile of comics of Conan.
Amazing.
And they're saving it for me all the time. And that's
That
very
feels
nice.
really
We
special.
have some comments here. Much of them are in Spanish, but
Sure.
I just gonna they say hi
Hey.
to Jim and Alfredo. Hi from Sinaloa, the state of Sinaloa in the south,
Oh,
in
cool.
the southeast of Mexico. And this is the corner of the Cimmerian. This is a Spanish. He's in Spain.
Okay.
Justo, the Cimmerian. It's the YouTuber that goes with this show, this
Cool.
YouTube channel. It says, "Say hi to my friend Alfredo and the great Jim Sub.
Oh, very kind.
And you return us the illusion for the adventures of our Conan by Chrome," he said.
Yeah, man. Is the best.
And then,
Yeah, I've been doing so many conventions over the, you know, over the summer, getting to meet people, getting to go to Spain. I did 2 signings in Madrid with, you know, Fernando Dagnino, which was so awesome, and with Ivan. Uh, you know, it's just been so cool. My friend Alberto Albuquerque, who's also there, and we're
oh,
working on a
yeah,
non-Conan project together. Got to hang out a little bit with Pepe Larraz, who's currently drawing Amazing Spider-Man, but we worked on Avengers previously, so it was a really special trip. Getting to go to Spain and getting to hang out with these guys, it was so cool.
there's a question of Mr. Sirumi. Say, is there a
Mm.
chance of special issue where we see a Titan adaptation of the films? That will
Of
be
the
nice.
films. Interesting. So they did a mini series of, you know, Conan the Barbarian that Marvel adapted the original movie. I don't know if they did Destroyer or not, though. I'm not sure. You know, we've got permission to use material from the movies, and you can see already I've woven some of those into the comic, like when we had the Atlantean sword or the fangs of the serpent dagger that we had show up in one of the issues. Um, but I'm not sure if we're ever going to do an adaptation. At one point, I was talking about, you know, Oliver Stone wrote a very, very different screenplay for the original Conan. Like, it was a really crazy one, and I think it would be kind of cool to do a graphic novel of that.
Yeah.
That might
No,
be something really neat. And then it would be something that no one's ever seen before and no one knows what to expect. I'm not sure if just adapting the movie would be as satisfying in that way. But again, I think Marvel did an adaptation back. John Buscemi even drew it, the miniseries based on the movie stuff.
I have
That's
an
that's
issue.
one of the issues right there. That's so funny. Yeah, there he is on
Conan
the
the
tree
Barbarian
of
movie
woe.
special. Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
But
Cool, man.
I think it's John Buscema. I didn't
Yeah,
notice that until you
yeah,
mentioned
it's
it
so
right now.
cool.
But there's always I have the spin rack of my comics. They're full of
That's
only
awesome.
Conan
It was
here.
perfect right there waiting for us. So what is this comment? I'm sorry.
What
The
is
one
it?
on
Oh,
screen
this
right
comment.
now.
Oh,
Mm.
Justo from the corner of the Cimmerians telling us that Ivan Gill is going to be invited on his channel to talk about the art of the Scourge of the
Oh,
Serpent
cool.
when it's going to be released in Spain.
Great. Great.
In Spain, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then
Awesome.
there's another comment says, say hi to Alfredo and Jim from Spain.
Hey.
He said, we cannot grateful so much enough to this great job of Jim and all the artists of this new era of Conan. He said it's a golden era of Conan.
It's very kind. It feels so amazing to get this kind of feedback from longtime collectors and readers. It means the world to all of us on the team. We grew up on this stuff and we love it, and we want to try and extend that enthusiasm and build that fan base. And when we were looking at the Titan relaunch and trying to figure out what can we do to win back a readership that made the book such a huge hit in the 70s and the 80s, and also invite new people to come on board and try it for the very, very first time. So there are hundreds of thousands of people that play like Conan Exiles or the Age of Conan video games.
That's true.
And I want to encourage those kind of people. Look, the comics are really easy to get into, and they're super fun, and they're super the world of Conan is so easy to enter. Yes, there is a grand world and there's all these places and there's all these characters, but honestly, all you need to know is that Conan is the original sword and sorcery hero. Wherever he travels, something exciting and amazing is going to happen. And that the more you read, the more you will enjoy. That's really our job, is to entertain and to engage. And then, obviously Chris and Jeff and all of us working on the story stuff, like that's my job, is to keep the timeline tight and make sure all the continuity works and, come up with new scenarios. But your job as the reader is just to like dig in, enjoy, and then share with other people your excitement.
Marcos said he had just bought the new number released in Spain, and he feels like a 15-year-old kid waiting for Scourge of the Serpent. Also,
that's cool.
Also Jose said, from Spain, we're very happy with the work done by Jim Sub. Okay.
Honestly, it's a team effort. Like none of this will be possible without our whole crew. So I feel very fortunate to be the first person on that credit list and to be the person who's generating the story. But without the skill of De La Torre and Dagnino and Braithwaite and Green and now Dagnino, like all of them, they're just so awesome, and that's what's making it that much easier.
I extend my invitation to the channel to Rob De La Torre. He said, well, later when I have time, because right now I'm so busy. And I said, well, okay, all right. And then Fernando Dagnino, he already came twice.
Sure. I mean, De La Torre, he is he's a bit of a mystery man, I think, for most of the fan base. Yeah. He's not he's not a public kind of a figure in that way.
You know what? We did a special live about Savage Sword of Conan #7 because it was Roy Thomas.
Oh my God!
Such
a beautiful issue.
When he saw that later, not in live, 2-3 days later, he sent us a huge comment. He so was grateful cool. Because we talk about his work, about
good.
Sort of Conan
it's always worth talking about. It's so brilliant. Getting to do the boxing story with him in Savage Sword #10, where we got to do Sailor Steve Costigan. Thank you for all the comments, by the way, guys. I'm glancing down. I'm checking them briefly, but
we didn't read all of them. But I'm just going to put it over there. I'm just going to put it over there.
Very kind. But getting to work with Roberto recently on the Savage Sword #10, which have got the tie-in stories for Scourge, and we decided we were going to do a classic boxing story. Howard wrote more boxing stories than he wrote, and even Conan. And so for me, I felt like it's this gap that they've never done comic stuff with Sailor Steve or any of those things. What was that question you just had on the
Oh,
screen?
okay. Let me just find
No,
it.
no problem. I don't want to miss them. If I can answer, I will.
He said, Mr.
It's for Post King. Um, I'm not sure. There's no current plans for that, but I don't think it's impossible down the road. It's not something that I'm currently thinking about. I'm focused on, the three kind of primary eras where you talk about Conan in his youth, Conan in his prime, and then when he becomes king rather than the post king. I really did enjoy Jason Aaron's King Conan miniseries that shows him kind of go off into the sunset at the end there. I thought it was quite well put together, but I'm still trying to work out my version of that and what that looks like or feels like. Sometimes when it comes to these mythological figures, these icons, I know we imagine like the ultimate, we want to see every story all the way to the bitter, bitter old man end. And I'm not quite sure what I want to say if I do end up going to that era. So
Uh-huh.
it's something that's sort of it's in the back of my mind and I think about it, but that's not my focal point at this point in time. It's not to say never. I also, when we did the original press for the launch of Conan, I said I would never adapt a Robert E. Howard story. And then we did Frost Giant's Daughter, so it's
Yes.
not impossible. And even now, Scourge of the Serpent is using material from 3 different Robert E. Howard stories, weaving them together, right? So it's got material from the Shadow Kingdom and God in the Bowl and Hunter of the Ring. And at first, it is an adaptation, but I think as people keep reading, even if they've read those stories, you're going to start to see how we diverge. And then issue 4 is going to blow it all up in a way that I think people will be surprised and hopefully even more excited to see what's
I,
coming next.
I cannot wait for issue number 4.
It's
But
a lot, man. It's a lot. It's audacious. I'm nervous and excited in the best way possible. The end of Blackstone has some crazy stuff that people were like,
yeah,
that kind of made them sit up and take notice. And I think Scourge at the end is going to do that even more. So it's cool and it's fun to be able to get on calls with Chris Butera, my editor,
uh-huh.
and he even knows where we're going with the grand plan, but I can still sort of throw even bigger, crazier things at him and surprise him and go, okay, remember I told you we're doing something like this? Even bigger. Let's go. Let's really, push this to the limit and make people just excited month to month. That's the job.
Speaking about this issue, I
Yeah.
was when I was reading, and I was in my digital copy when I was reading this part, and I
Mm.
said, because one of the first images in the part that Kieran show up here,
Yeah.
Kieran, and I thought it was Conrad, but it's not. It's
It's not.
Gordon.
Yeah, it's
It's
this.
not
Well, it's James Gordon and this other guy,
Gordon.
Michael O'Donnell, and they're the characters in the original Hunter of the Ring story. Yeah, yeah. And so I didn't want to replace them,
Uh-huh.
change them too much from the original story. There
Got it.
are changes that are coming later, but that wasn't one of them that I felt like we had to make. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, and it was like, oh no, this is Jim Gordon. I thought it was
yeah,
Conrad, but no. So one of the thing, oh, there's another, glow in the dark.
yeah, man.
The
That
Serpent
was one of those ones again where so I asked Roberto to do this pair of covers where I said, we do an image of
Never.
Cull and Brule,
Very cool.
and then do the one transformed because that's also a bit of a throwback. There was a pair of covers similar to that in the original run of Cull at Marvel, where
Yes.
Barry Windsor Smith did, Cull, and then he did one with the snakehead on the following issue. So I wanted to kind of do a bit of a tip of the hat to that idea. And then again, that potent green palette. I think the Titan guys are like, that green has got to glow. It's just too cool not to. So,
It's too cool, and it's the same
yeah.
thing with issue number 23. The one
Mm,
I show earlier is the same
yeah.
thing. Well, let's talk about this episode of Conan. This is very
What a
cool
fun
because
one.
the whole issue you wrote it. The whole
Yeah. So the previous tie-in issue we did with Blackstone, we had multiple writers, right? So that was,
short.
Fred Kennedy, and it was Jeff Shanks, and we had Ron Mars, and they all did an awesome job. But honestly, as the narrative's getting even tighter, and things are weaving in very tightly, I didn't want to micromanage people. I didn't want to be like, you have to put this specific plot point in there because it's going to pay off later, or we
Got it.
need to, with this thing, with Tarnasha, that woman who betrayed Belit and Conan,
Uh-huh.
in the previous arc, I knew we were going to bring that back, and doing it here with the Traitor Returns and this story we called Twice Paid Debts, that was something I knew I wanted to do with Doug, and I knew I wanted to do it in Savage Sword. So it just made sense for me to write it, because we had to have those tight little narrative, bundles together to make it all work. And then when we were looking at it, I had talked about the fact that it was the 100th anniversary of Spear and Fang, which is, Howard's first published story in Weird Tales. And
I
that
think it's this one.
prehistoric, that's that one. And
I
Mike
need
Ruth
to
did
hear
an amazing job on it. And so I wanted to sort of invert that idea and show those characters in a later story.
that.
We just
Okay.
flipped the title over. So it's called Fang and Spear now, which made sense because the fang of the snake, it all kind of worked together so well thematically, and showed that the snake people have existed even in those prehistoric times. And so that, again, was something where I was like, there's very specific things that I want to show, very careful bits that I want to reveal in terms of when people look back after the end of Scourge of the Serpent #4. I think when you go back and you reread issue 10, you're going to be like, wait a minute, there's a couple more things there I didn't quite notice, which is cool. And then the third one was just fun. Like, it was just indulgent. Dilatory and we had talked about
Sailor
mixing
Steve
things up.
Costigan.
And that's the thing, right? And I, he's drawn so much Conan over the past few years. And so he was already talking about, I'd love to do something a little bit different. And I said, what about a boxing story? And I can tie that into the Scourge of the Serpent, but we can also make this as much of a Sailor Steve story as possible. So that kind of very specific narrative styling and that voice that Costigan has in the first person narration in particular, I wanted to capture as much of that as possible. And so I went back and I reread all those Sailor Steve Costigan stories. I had a notepad and I was writing down the kind of grammar he uses and the sort of cadence to his voice to try and make it feel as authentic to those stories as I could. And man, oh man, Rob just threw the hell out of it. It's so much fun. It's such a silly, over-the-top story, but it still all ties together. It all still works with our continuity and the Scourge of the Serpent stuff. So that one it is genuinely one of the most fun comic projects I think I've ever worked on, was that little story with him.
I was going to ask you, I was when I read all these stories, in my mind, each character has a specific voice. If that happens in your mind, do you have a
absolutely voice? I'll read the dialogue out loud.
Cool. Steve Costigan,
they have to have their own distinct way of speaking, and so whenever I finished a lettering script, I'm always reading the dialogue out loud. And I know my wife will walk by my office and sometimes I'm literally reading lines and dialogue back and forth to try and make sure that it sounds distinct, that it sounds interesting, that they feel like words that could come out of these characters. And John Kirawan should not sound like Conan, and Conan shouldn't sound like Kull, and Kull shouldn't sound like Brule. Like, they've all got their own way of approaching these things. Obviously, when I'm adapting from the Robert E. Howard source material, I'm using as much of that dialogue as I can. But even then, because it's a comic, we have to make subtle changes or slight edits in order to fit, that material into it. And so a couple times, I know if people are paying really close attention on the Shadow Kingdom, I'll move a line of dialogue, or I'll truncate it slightly, or I'll adjust it to make it work better with the comic visuals. But as much as possible, I'm trying to be respectful of that source material and bring forth that essence. Same kind of thing with the narration. If I can use little bits from that original source material where it's most relevant, great. But there's other times where I need to describe things in a very quick, punctuated way to work with the panel artwork. And so there it's like, okay, I've got to adapt my own kind of feel and in the voice, and in the narrative style as much as I can of Howard.
Let me show you this comment. Punk Comics Geek says, awesome guest. Thank you, Mr. Sub, for everything you're doing with Conan. It's great when the writer understands the characters, the source material, and the fans. That's correct.
It's this is the thing, is I'm a fan too, right? So I want to please myself. I want to create things that are exciting. Obviously, like, it's a job in the sense we want to sell books, but I think that you can mix, the commercial and the passion, that these are not two separate things, and that we can make an exciting, when I'm talking to Chris, or we're talking to Fred, or Marcos, or everyone at the Heroic office, it's about me communicating my excitement and my enthusiasm for what, we might be able to do down the road, like when I'm pitching future stories, or when we're talking about where this is all building, that these two things go hand in hand. And if you are passionate and creative, that you can put that into the work, and then people respond to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Saber Snakeman from the Masters of the Universe. Oh, totally. So Sean Curley just did a video all about how He-Man, the original He-Man
Oh
proposal
yeah,
from
I saw
Mattel,
that one.
connects into
Uh-huh.
the original Conan material. So I think if people should watch that video over on the official Conan YouTube page. They will be amazed. Sean did the deep dive. He even has some of the legal documents when the rights holders of Conan sued Mattel about the He-Man toys. And so
Let
it's
me
pretty
let me
wild
tell you
stuff.
this. This is a
Yeah.
cover of issue 22. It's drawn
Mm.
by Sean, by Jason Sean Alexander.
Yeah, so cool.
It's very cool. I didn't know he could he was an artist too. I didn't know that.
Well, that's Sean Curley's the guy that does the YouTube channel. Jason
Uh-huh.
Sean Alexander. Yeah. He's so good though. He's
It's
awesome.
so good. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
When I saw this in comics and stuff, and I say, I want this copy too. Oh, you already have that. Yes, I want this one too.
Perfect. I got to give you a little bit of a sneak peek here. So, in a few
Oh,
weeks in English, we're going to be releasing. This is a copy of issue 25. So, this is the big
you
anniversary
already
issue.
have
This
it.
one is Doug Braithwaite's cover. So, it's
Uh-huh.
extra pages for our 25th issue. It's my first King Conan story, and it's got painted artwork from Alex Horley. Alex has done such a phenomenal job on the covers for so many issues of Savage Sword, and he's been such a great, collaborator. And so we work together. That's it. You got some of the pages there showing off. We did this brand new self-contained story. So it's the whole
Okay.
story, I think, is 36 pages. So from start to finish, you'll get a complete tale of King Conan. I wrote it almost like an Arthurian legend. Like it's got this very fable style kind of quality to it. And Alex has been working on artwork for this for a year. We asked him a year ago how much time it might take for him to paint a whole story in between his other cover commitments and magic cards and things that he had to work on. And he said, I need the script as soon as possible. And so I sent him, we're coming to almost October, but in early September of last year, I sent him the script, and he started painting away on it. And so once most of the fall, he was doing rough sketches and development and designs and the cover sketches and things like that. And then once we hit the new year in particular, he started to send us oil paintings, the insane traditional artwork that he's been putting together on the series.
The
And it
Nomad.
is phenomenal. The Nomad. Yeah.
The
I'm
Nomad.
super proud of it. It's like a celebration of all that is Conan. It's a King Conan story with a big epic scale, and it is filled with callbacks to classic stories, but also surprises. I cannot wait for you and everyone else to read it, because the
Oh my
ending
God.
is a banger, man. It is again very audacious. I'm so excited for people to read it.
Look
And
at
this
this
is,
image.
interior artwork. That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah,
Every page is this beautiful cover quality epic.
exactly. It looks like a cover.
Absolutely.
Look at
That's
that.
what's so
You,
cool
you
about
can
it.
use those as pinups or posters,
I know, but
Oh
it's
my.
every page. Every page is a stunner. When
Oh,
we saw the letter,
this is
there's the wraparound cover that he
the
did.
wrapper
Yeah,
up. Okay.
yeah.
This is
So
very cool.
cool.
So this is a way to celebrate the second year because it's going to be
Yeah, they're
released
finishing the
on
second year and starting the third year. And so what we did was, all the people who have drawn the regular book, so De La Torre and Dagnino and Braithwaite and Breen, they all came back and they did variant covers for 25. So, he does the inside, and then they did variant covers for the outside.
exactly.
So everyone, Jonas Scharf came and did a cover
Oh,
as
that's
well.
very
So
nice.
it was nice to do this celebration of everyone who's helped build this amazing, publishing initiative for us and make it extra special. And so I could not be more proud of the issue. Finally got the printed copies, here in my hand, and
Oh my God.
it
As
feels
you
surreal
said,
because I'm flipping through it and I know, every page of this. I know every line of dialogue and every narration, but it feels even more special when you see it in print, when you
I
see
just,
the hard work that
I
everyone's put
just,
into it.
I just wonder if when we meet in person in Howard Days
Mm,
2024. Remember that you knew
yeah.
about this at that time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was
There's,
already in the
I
planning. Yeah.
remember asking you, what's in the future? You said there's a lot of things coming,
Yeah,
but
a lot of
before
things.
you
But
say it,
I wasn't, at that point, I wasn't sure we would be able to get Alex. I wasn't sure who the artist would be. I think in June we were still we were starting to talk about it, but it wasn't nailed down yet because it's a huge commitment, but I knew what the story was for sure. That was already bubbling in my mind. That was already, that story. I've had that story in my head for a long time. It was one of the ones that was in one of my earliest proposals for Titan was the Nomad. So it was only a couple sentences. I think I said like a stranger, comes to meet King Conan and offers him the ultimate, challenge or something and things like that. So it's been in my head for a while and now it's real. So I really hope that the readership, that the fans love it as much as I have enjoyed making it.
I'm very sure
Yeah,
everyone is
we put
gonna
a lot of
enjoy it.
heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears into this one. Writing the lettering script for this one too was a lot. I spent a lot of extra time just trying to make that narrative as poetic as possible. And Richard and Tyler have done just a stunning job with the lettering. It is we hope it's one for the ages. That's the dream, that people look back years from now very fondly to it.
I would like to see in the future this edition in a hardcover or in a
Oh man.
special,
Yeah.
publishing in a special format.
Oversized or
Yeah,
yeah, that would be so
the
cool.
oversized. Do you know why? In Marvel days, there was an edition. It says Marvel graphic novels, and
Oh yeah, the Marvel graphic novels
there's
for
some
sure. There's a couple
Conan
really
issues.
cool ones.
There's some Conan issues there because he
Yeah,
was also X-Men and
yep,
Spider-Man, other Punisher, I guess, other characters of Marvel, but also Conan the Barbarian.
yeah.
And I have some issues of those, and I say, oh, that will be very cool if
The
Titan
larger size is so cool. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
And this
You know what's really
material,
nice? The
it's
printing
more than
quality.
yeah. Also, hard horrors because I know there's the Lutz edition of the Bound and Blackstone. It's
Yeah, the
getting released.
oversized hardcover is coming out in a few weeks. I think like 3 weeks it's going to be out. I
Yeah,
don't have a copy of it yet. It's funny. There was a reviewer online.
me
He has an
neither, but I'm
advanced
going to
copy.
comics and stuff and get it.
I know. I saw there's a YouTuber. He's got an advanced copy, and he was flipping through it, and I was jealous. I was like, man, I can't wait to get one in my hands. So it's going to be so cool.
One of the things that I like about Titan Comics is the release of this action figure of Conan the
Oh
Barbarian.
man.
I
So
already
that's
ordered
not
mine.
Titan. Titan's not doing the action figure. That's Heroic Signatures directly
Oh,
is
that's
doing the
heroic
action
figures.
figure.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And so I'm going to show you here. Check this out. So this is the prototype. So that
Oh,
is the like they've been flip to the
no,
other
it's
one
okay.
there.
I'm gonna flip it.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So this is one of those figures. So it's not quite the final production version, but it's as close as it's going to get before it goes into final production. They're taking pre-orders until October 10th. Let me pull this out of the tray here. So the deluxe version of it's got 3 trays worth of stuff.
Oh,
So you've
okay. Look
got
at
the
that.
Conan, he's got those weapons,
Oh, there's
and
a
then
lot of
there's
weapons.
another tray that's got like different heads and different hands and different body stuff, the weaponry. And then the third tray is the coolest one because that's all the extra stuff. So that's like Brissa's spear, and it's got,
Oh, all the
the
weapons of the
all the
no Battle of the Blackstone.
that's right. So it's
Battle
got
of the
Brissa's spear, and it's got Dark Agnes's sword. It's got Elborak's sword and pistol there, and then you've got the Solomon Kane's, the cat-headed staff from the classic story. So it's so cool to see those all together. They just went super deluxe in terms of all the different options there.
They said, Mr. Serum, it's difficult to write Conan in this world of political correctness since I
Right,
remember an issue of Marvel a few years ago. They were
right.
an edit on character dress. Well,
I don't know if you've noticed the Titan books are mature readers, so we're able to get away with a level of violence where appropriate for the pulps, and the same thing with the more salacious kind of qualities of the original Howard stories. I don't ever want to make it feel like it's exploitive, like it just feels pornographic, but I always want to be able to go as far as is required based on the source material and based on,
I'm pretty sure that everybody understands as a mature reader for this
exactly. And that's
material.
the same thing. I think even Conan number 25, I will tell you there's nudity in that issue, like, our big anniversary issue. So, we don't shy away from it. That's the thing. I think it's important for us to be able to use whatever levers are at our storytelling, disposal as is appropriate for the story we're trying to tell. So Conan makes love and it is, big and bombastic. And when violence happens, it's explosive and it's brutal.
It is what it is. Let me read
Yeah,
this to you
for
because it's
sure.
important. Fernando said, the truth, he is so grateful with you because you recovered these characters of our characters and
Oh,
this
thank you.
comic, but that most of them never did it before, like Costigan. So he's so grateful about your work to doing this,
Oh, that's great.
covering all
It's a joy for me to the more, Howard I read and the more I find these characters, especially the obscure ones like, Sailor Steve or
scary.
Kirwan and Conrad, there's only a handful of stories with them in it, but I think they're really cool and I think they're really fascinating. And it's certainly I want to have more, over a longer period of time. There are pirate characters and there are cowboys and there are other characters that I want to utilize, maybe not on the same level, obviously, as a
Mhm.
Solomon Kane or Cole the Conqueror. Like, there's only so much you can do with a character that has, a very small audience right now. But if we can use the pop culture, kind of icon that is Conan the Barbarian and raise up these other characters and put them into the spotlight, that they become, favorites as well, then I feel like we've done our job properly.
I have two questions just to
Sure.
finalize this interview. I know you're so
Mhm.
busy right now, but just two more questions.
Okay.
One of them is there a chance we're going to see a crossover in Titan Comics about Red Sonja and Conan?
So there's no current plans. So
Uh,
obviously, Red Sonja is being published by Dynamite, which is a separate company,
yeah.
and they've got their own publishing plan, going forward, and we've got ours. And so for now, there's no current plans to introduce Red Sonja into our continuity. That
But,
would be
but you know
cool.
what
And I've
happened?
had. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, do you know what happened with Deadpool and Batman recently?
Oh yeah, I know. I know about the crossover. I know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but
Uh-huh.
there's no current plans for it.
It's
So
like,
hey, I worked on the previous one. You know that, right? Like I wrote with Gail Simone, the Red Sonja
I
Conan
already have them.
crossover. Right. So it's not like it's not
It's
like
not
it'll
impossible,
never
but it's not in the plans right now.
it's not currently in
Right?
the plans. That's correct.
Okay. So, what other things we have for Conan in 2025? Can you reveal us
Oh,
something?
2026. We're
Yeah,
already
yeah, yeah, yeah.
2025. We're
I'm
almost
sorry.
at the end now.
2026, because
Yeah,
we're almost finishing
I
2025.
know it's crazy.
Okay.
So
So
the next
2026,
story arc.
what's the new thing?
Yeah, the next story arc we're doing after Nest of Serpents. So 25 through to 20, I guess 26, 27, 28. So to issue 28,
Mhm.
that story arc is called The Conquering Crown. And we are going to retell the story of how Conan gets the crown, how he actually becomes the king of Aquilonia. And
Okay.
we're not using the same, like in the Hour of the Dragon, they describe the fact that he, slayed King Numidides, that he choked him, in the throne room and all things like that. So those events will happen. Those are in the original, Howard Cannon writing. But
Okay.
all the other stuff, there was a novel called Conan the Liberator that was written by Sprague de Camp back in the day. We're not using that material. We're doing
Okay.
our own take on how Conan took the throne and why and what political machinations and wars. It is a grand epic. It's a big one, and I
We're not
cannot
using.
wait
You're
for
not
people to
using
read
this
it.
stuff.
We're not using the DeCamp stuff or the Lynn Carter stuff. No, we're doing our own take. Bridging the gap between the Howard stories. So I'm really excited for people to see this one. It is an insane epic. The armies clashing and
Mhm.
the political machinations. I'm really proud of how that's coming together. It's almost done. That's the crazy thing.
Oh,
Production wise, we're almost finished on it, and I've
sounds
been
much
working away
better
on it for many
than
months.
sounds
Yeah.
much better than House of the Dragon or something like that.
Well, that's the thing is we're able to work so far ahead. So for example, I'm already writing, like issue 31 and beyond. So it's nice to have that headwind. And like I said, I pitched the next year event already. And once we get our artist for that finalized, they're going to start working on that material before the end of the year, even though it doesn't come out until, next year. So it's awesome to be able to plan it far ahead and have such an enthusiastic crew that's able to execute on it.
Jim, any other surprise that you can give us? Any sneak peek? Or
Um, I am hoping to do a lot more travel, to places I've never been next year. And so with a little bit of luck, I would love to come to Mexico. I would like to go to Europe again.
Oh
I'm
my God.
hoping I can announce some dates to get to meet more of our incredible, foreign readers. That is, my fingers are crossed, but we're having really good discussions right now. So I'm
I have
hopeful.
I have a friend, a co-worker, and a friend, in San Diego, and
Mm.
he did this to me. There's a con.
Oh, cool.
He obviously he's not professional, but
Yeah,
he
yeah. It still looks really
understands
cool,
that.
man. That's really nice stuff.
And he said, if you got a chance, show this to Jim
Yeah, man.
Sub.
That's fun.
So there it is, calling
Wicked.
name
That
that
looks great. It's savage. I love it.
yeah. So I just want to reveal that. And there's another friend,
Mm.
Chubeto Cheto, and he's also did this. This is
Oh, cool.
digital. This is a digital work, and
That's really nice.
and this is paint. So
Fun.
just to show you this material, so you can know in Tijuana and San Diego, you have fans of Conan that
I
also
love it.
they would like to, in their dreams, they want to be the artist of Conan and say,
Right.
well,
Contribute.
give me your images. I'm gonna show you to Jim.
Very cool. I appreciate it. We love getting, letters from the fans. If you want to email about the books or anything else, the email address is chainmail@conan.com. They can send that anytime. Send
Okay.
your artwork, send your enthusiasm, tell us what you love, tell us what you're buying and why. It makes a huge difference.
Finally, hopefully, I'm planning to attend Howard Days next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're gonna meet again there.
I am hoping to be there as well. It's the 40th anniversary of Robert E. Howard Days.
Uh-huh.
And so I've put it on my calendar and we're trying to make sure nothing kind of overlaps. So
Yeah,
it will be wonderful to be there with Jeff and with Mark Finn and everybody else. I want to be, back in Cross Plains and meeting as many of the longtime fans as possible.
me too. And I wish to participate in anything that it's possible, because
Yeah,
the first year I was just like, an spectator, just looking
sure.
at everything. But right now, I would like to be involved. I was talking about with Jeff Shanks about
Oh, cool.
what if we can do this and do that. I said, those are great ideas, but then slow down. He said,
Yeah, yeah. I
okay.
think but that enthusiasm and that passion makes such a huge difference for sure.
Let me tell you, before we finish, this is the last day of September, and it's finishing the month of Conan, Cimmerian September.
Yes.
Spanish Septiembre Cimerio. I'll be posting after this interview, this live interview, a little bit in the evening. I'm gonna post the last videos that I prepared to close this month. But let me
Awesome.
tell you something, Jim. When you said that you write and the artists draw this work of Conan in these comics, in these magazines, you put your heart in everything here. You put your soul and your
Thank you.
heart in these stories. But let me tell you something. When we read, the readers, when we're reading, we're enjoying, but we're not also enjoying. We also put our heart reading this, and we
That's
have a
right.
connection. So I'm talking about me and my friends. Ludwig, my friend.
Yeah,
And then and other friends that I have. We talk about Conan, and we're so passionate. And said, you know what? We read this in the same kind of energy that Jim Sub write it, and the same
that's
energy
that's
that
all you can hope for,
artists
man. That
draw these
Yep,
images.
yep,
And I say, well, this is something that it's like a game of tennis or ping pong, because the ball
yep.
comes from here, and then we hit it on that side, and you can imagine how happy you make us. So we're so grateful for your work, Jim. Thank you for being
Thank
our friend,
you.
and I hope we can see you in another video and another live stream soon. If not, we can see you in person in Howard Days. And I'm so
That's right.
grateful for your time.
It all of this has happened because the readers are passionate, because the fans are sharing that passion with each other and letting other people know, hey, if you're not reading the book, you got to check it out. And that is really, it's changed my entire career. So I owe a lot of this to people like you and to the other readers that have done so much to encourage me and to encourage other people to read. So thank you so much for all that you do. Wishing everyone the best Sumerian September possible. You know, Michael Vaughn and all the guys, like Michael, who started that, you know, Sumerian September YouTube thing.
I know.
It's been a wonderful
I
thing.
never met him.
I love seeing the community come together this way, and it's a joy to be a small part of it. So thank you for having me, and wishing everyone all the best Sumerian September into the fall and into the frost and fury yet to come in the new year.
Thank you so much, Jim, for being with us. And thank you for all the person in Mexico and Spain. There were comments because we have a huge fan in Spain and Mexico too.
Awesome.
So this is very awesome. Wish you luck. I know you're traveling. You're coming from Tennessee, from Chattanooga Comic-Con.
Yeah, and then I'm heading to New York next week. So.
And then you're going to New York. So I wish you a lot of luck. And we stay in touch. And remember, you still have friends here in Mexico.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Gracias, amigos comicófilos. Este fue Jim Sub aquí en el Santuario de los Cómics. Hasta luego. Bye.